10 gods who are all associated with a single god, Vishnu. This model could amount to a rather confusing situation if the Hindus weren't aware of the multiplicity of their gods. So, not only will you find correspondences between gods in separate mythologies, but correspondences between the gods of a single mythology can also be found. I suspect that this avatar relationship with the gods explains this multiplicity. Another common habit of mythology is to describe a single god as a pair, one good and one evil. In this way, do the gods of mythology have different aspects. There is, in fact, little argument among those who study mythology that the same gods seem to make their appearances in multiple mythologies. The only argument is why this is occurring. Those university experts tend to take the extremely flawed Freudian approach. They believe that this mythological overlap is due to the natural cultural exchange that occurs between civilizations in proximity, proposing that, over time, two nearby civilizations will begin to absorb the traditions and gods of the other. This theory does not, however, explain how distant and unacquainted civilizations manage to acquire so many corresponding details in their traditions. Easily, one of the most common gods who transcend the borders of mythology is Venus. Venus is the Roman goddess of love and fertility. The goddess Venus is so closely related to the Greek goddess Aphrodite that one could hardly pull them apart categorically. Aphrodite, from whom came the word aphrodisiac, is also a goddess of love and fertility. Aphrodite is also associated with another Greek goddess, Astarte. In Mesopotamia, this goddess goes by the names Ishtar, Ashtoreth, and Inanna. Ishtar is also a fertility and love goddess who is further associated with the planet Venus. The multiple aspects of the goddess Inanna, or the concept of multiple aspects, seem to surface in the story of her descent into the underworld. Here, Inanna descends into the land of the dead, ruled by her dark sister or aspect, Ereshkigal. At the end of the story, the reader may have the impression that Ereshkigal, queen of the underworld, absorbed the qualities or body of her sister Inanna. Yet another copy of this goddess is Queen Semiramis. The average American is more familiar with Semiramis than they realize. It is her likeness that graces the Statue of Liberty. Even though the Statue of Liberty is a spitting likeness of Queen Semiramis of Assyria, the French Freemasons that funded the statue's construction left subtler clues as to the true identity of Our Lady Liberty. In magic, the metal of the goddess Venus is copper, her color is green, and her number is 7. The exterior of the Statue of Liberty is made of copper, the statue is green, and has 7 rays of light reaching out from her head. Then there's Satan, who himself has countless names. Most Christians believe they have a monopoly on the stories regarding this being, but Satanists know better. Satanists, and occultists in general, have equated the fallen angel Satan with the villain of almost every mythology. In Egyptian mythology, Satan is Set, the Egyptian god of chaos, storms, and evil. And similar to Satan from the Bible, who once stood beside the throne of God, Set was once the guardian of the sun god Ra. Apparently, it was after Set's battle with Apep, the serpent of chaos, that he became the new villain in the Egyptian tales. The first to play this villain role was Apep himself. The evil god Set kills his benevolent brother Osiris twice, then begins to make war with the seed of Osiris, a god named Horus. In Jewish folklore, Satan was called Samael. Samael, whose name meant venom of God, was considered a dark angel of death, and also the true father of Cain, which was the first child of Adam and Eve. Satanists repeatedly enforced this association, frequently suggesting that it was the serpent who was the true father of Cain, rather than Adam. Occultists will also freely refer to Satan as Ahriman. Ahriman is an ancient Persian god who, according to legend, is wholly wicked and at war with his righteous brother Ahura Mazda. This Ahriman resides in a gloomy underworld and leads many demons. And then you have Hades from Greek mythology. Hades is the ruler of the underworld and the brother of Zeus. After a conflict where Hades, Poseidon, and Zeus team up to defeat the Titans, or the older gods. These younger gods divided creation into three. Zeus would rule heaven, Poseidon would rule the sea, and Hades would rule the underworld, which was the land of the dead. Although the Greek traditions do not mention a conflict between the two brothers, Zeus and Hades, Satanists do. I suspect that this is just another God and his evil brother story. Satanists also refer to Satan as Azazel. Azazel, according to Jewish lore in the Bible, is a fallen angel or demon who is described as an outcast. He, like the Egyptian god Set, is associated with the desert. Although Azazel was mentioned in the Bible, his most famous appearance was in the Book of Enoch. The Book of Enoch is considered an apocryphal text, which means that it did not receive entry into the Bible. The Book of Enoch's exclusion from the Bible is truly a tragedy, and the fact that Christians' opinion regarding this text is largely unchanged makes for an even greater tragedy. The Book of Enoch is essentially the first 6 chapters of the Bible's Genesis expanded into an entire book. It does not, in any way, relate information that is contradictory to the Bible. In the Book of Enoch, Azazel is described as being among the leaders of 200 angels, also called the Watchers, who came down to the Garden of Eden. The text is unambiguous about the serpent from the Garden of Eden being in fact a group. The Bible, albeit a bit more subtly, also makes it clear that this serpent was in fact a group when it mentions the sons of God, which is of course plural. In the Bible, the serpent tempts Eve into eating a fruit from the tree of knowledge of good and evil. Yet in the Book of Enoch, there was no fruit, but instead it was knowledge of magic and the sciences which the fallen angels gave unto man. The relationship between the serpent, Azazel, and Satan himself gets a tad bit blurry in the world of the occult. Satanists often speak of Azazel as being a mouthpiece or mask of Satan. Occultists frequently tell the story of Satan approaching Eve, quote-unquote, in the form of Azazel, as if Azazel were in fact a separate entity who, while tempting Eve, was possessed by Satan. This follows the Avatar model, where multiple gods are related to a single god and vice versa. After giving man magical knowledge that was forbidden by God, and mating with human women, the Book of Enoch describes the fallen angels and their offspring, and almost all of humanity, destroyed by a flood whose cause was divine. Black magicians, to this day, revere Azazel and the rest as heroes for bringing the flame of magic and transformation to humanity. This story of God's enemy who, against the wishes of God, gives fire to mankind is also echoed in Greek mythology. Black magicians often equate Azazel from the Book of Enoch with Lucifer and the Greek god Prometheus. The reason is that Prometheus, against the wishes of Zeus, stole fire from the gods and gave it to humanity. Zeus, the furious god of Mount Olympus, punishes Prometheus by binding him to a rock and commanding an eagle to peck away at his liver, which regenerated every day. Prometheus is depicted as incredibly intelligent, deceptive, and rebellious. Prometheus, Azazel, Lucifer, the torchbearer, the lightbringer. The flame or torch of the Olympics and its corresponding tradition is a commemoration of Prometheus' theft of fire from Zeus. The Statue of Liberty, whose likeness is based on the goddess Ishtar, who is said to have fallen with Azazel, also bears the torch of illumination. This flame is a direct reference to magical knowledge and self-deification through magical means. It is important not to mistake this Azazel and those who were with him for the traveling civilizer spoke of earlier. The fallen angels of Eden taught humanity much magic and did not have the support of the Most High God. Our humble civilizer, on the other hand, spoke of morals and the sciences while never teaching magic, and he also had the support of the Most High God. Jehovah, Jove, or God, is the righteous brother and ruler whose names are also many. To the Jews, he was Yahweh,